Hello, my name is Trent Lee, and this is my rebuttal to my debate partner Brandon Schultz and his stance on steroids in sports. Mr. Schultz raised some terrific points concerning the morality of steroids. Well, respectively, those points might not necessarily be completely true, and in this brief video I'll go into detail about Mr. Schultz's views and how they might not quite reflect the whole truth. I'll begin with the point of morality. My colleague paints a black and white picture when it comes to steroids in sports, but fails to realize that life is full of gray areas. I decided to create a survey to figure out where the public stands on this topic, but not just any portion of the public. I chose to use my job as an elementary school aide to survey elementary-aged children on the morality of steroids. Due to the fact that in our elementaries our kids are pumped full of lessons on how drugs are harmful, such as the DARE program and Red Ribbon Week. So, kids are well aware of drugs and what they might do to oneself. I surveyed 25 students about steroids, and their answers may surprise you. I posed 4 questions to the kids, and those 4 questions are: what is your name and grade? What sports do you play or like? Do you fully understand what steroids are and what they do? If you could take steroids and be one of the greatest athletes of all time and get away with it, would you do it, and why? Here's a couple samples of some of the responses. Can you state your name and grade?
No, I'm in 5th grade.
All right, Noah. And what sports do you play?
I play baseball, football, wrestling, and basketball.
All right. Do you understand what steroids are?
Yes.
All right. If you could take steroids and be one of the greatest athletes of all time, would you do it?
Yes.
Why?
Because it seems like it would make you a better athlete, but I would take the chances of it.
All right. Thank you, Noah. Can you state your name?
Grace Archer.
And what grade are you in, Grace?
3rd.
All right. What sports do you play?
Basketball and softball.
All right. Do you understand what steroids are?
Yes.
Okay. If you could take steroids and get away with it, but perform better in those sports, would you do it?
Yes.
And why?
Because I would be strong and I would do better.
All right. Thank you, Grace. Those 2 videos reflect the whole amount of the kids surveyed, as 23 out of 25 kids answered yes to the last question. That's 92% of kids who are constantly taught about drugs and their effects, saying that they would partake in PEDs to be a better athlete. That same question was posed to college athletes at Duke and Xavier University, and the responses were listed at 98% willing to try PEDs to better themselves as athletes. So my colleague can ponder the morality of it, while the reality is that steroids might not seem as immoral as once thought. And in conclusion, steroids might be something that can revolutionize sports, and is something that is definitely here to stay, whether one likes it or not.